Yeah, fine. No, we're not. We're not going.
I don't know. I'm asking.
You're so black and white, okay?
Fucking question. I don't know nothing. I'm just here. I just push buttons.
No, we won't divulge.
So we're not going to talk about Johnny Depp.
No.
What a letdown, man.
We can talk about it next week, like once it's decided. Once it's like known what's happening, or no.
I think it's going to take longer than that to be resolved. Yeah. You know what? He told me this thing once, maybe I was saying for the show, that he waterboarded a girl with Prosecco.
Wow.
For me, I was just like, waterboarding, it's torture. I was just like, and apparently she was really fucking into it. And I was like, how do you know? She might have just been like playing along with it. But she came back. And I'm just like, waterboarding, obviously, sounds pretty shit in the first place. And Prosecco fucking bubbles up your nose. And then he told me another story about how he was having sex with some girl. I think she was blindfolded. And then just during the middle, he gets her head and just puts it in a bucket of cold water he's got under the bed and in the middle. Yeah, I think it's the same girl. And I'm just like, apparently she's really into it. And she returned. And there's more stuff like that, to be honest.
I heard on a different podcast, this guy was talking about if you're having sex with a chick, something about the same thing about water. He's like, if you're near water, like fill up the sink or something. He's like, with cold water. Yeah. And right when she's about to come or something like that, he's like, just dunk her head in the water or something to that effect. So,
interesting.
So it's not new.
Is that supposed to enhance the coming, or like?
I wasn't there. I don't know.
What was her reaction, Ron?
Wasn't me. Wow. So you still? I'm not going to ask that. So yeah. So I think we need to have this guy on the pod. Why is he not sat?
I don't know. He's working now. He's been away for a few days, so he's catching up with work. But Dimmy, he's our friend. Like
we're recording live. We're recording now, by the way, just so you're aware. We are.
Okay.
So anyway,
we all go back from uni. And actually, when I met them, there's actually quite like a famous picture. They put a mouse hat on me, and they had like a couple of businesses, and one of their businesses was making BDSM stuff. So I have this mouse hat, and then I've got these like cuffs, these like leather cuffs, like a leather thing, a necklace thing, or a choker. And it was just like a really weird kind of like Minnie Mouse version. So yeah, that was one of the first instances where we met. So yeah, we've known each other for time. But
I think our co-host has all kinds of shit that she's not telling us about her past. And I think maybe she needs to be micing this show today and telling us what's really
many things are like being divulged, which suddenly just randomly come out, and we just have no idea. We have no idea.
You just gotta let her go, man. You just gotta let her go.
Just getting these skeletons out of my cupboard, one at a time.
Huh.
It's a skeleton party in there.
So does this guy have like sex parties then, or what? What's the deal? Where's my?
No, he doesn't. He's been to them, but he actually said he didn't like them. And I think with the sex parties, you need to be invited by a woman.
Right.
Yeah, so it can't be just like some blokes were there. And he didn't like it. I think he just found it a bit intimidating and shit. So, but yeah, no, he just like regularly kind of like has like threesomes and shit. And you know what? Do you know why? Well, he's like, we were talking about this earlier because he's like, I'm really going to have sex, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, get one of those hookup apps, because there's some specifically just for like fucking. And he's like, no, I don't do well because, he's like, I put on weight, I'm not good looking and stuff. But he's like, but when it comes to the dancing world, he like does tango and all these kind of things. He's like, he cleans up.
Of course. Dance, women gonna give you some booty.
Yeah, and he's like quite young for that scene. So, but he's like older women, younger women.
Oh, okay. So he's in the older chicks too then.
Yeah. Also, he really loves Vietnamese girls. He's going to Vietnam soon.
Also, aren't a lot of guys in that industry typically gay? So the women that are looking for something, like it's a smaller pool of people. So you're immediately like, you're at the front of the queue. If you're just game, you're front of the queue.
I don't think think so, to be honest. I mean, I've been to a couple of these dance things, and my impression was mainly heterosexual guys. And actually, I think a lot of guys are going there. Like, it's fun, like learning how to dance and do all the shit, but also with the intention of meeting someone. Like, that's the kind of, yeah. So yeah, I haven't really encountered many gay guys. Like, I've been to these things. So
J-Rise letting out all our hetero secrets, men. So you need to be careful now. So you have to probably start going back to the gay bars to meet straight women, because J-Rise shit on blast.
And it covered you. But that's how my friend met her husband, through one of these dance events.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then you believe it.
Yeah, sure.
They're like, our bodies are talking to each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of women that I know, or at least that I've heard say that they can tell if a guy is good in bed by the way he dances.
And I think, I mean, what do you think is the correlation there? I think
it's the ability,
body movement, hip movement.
Yeah, it's the ability to move your body.
Sorry. Yeah, I know, but and I think it's a confidence thing as well, because it's if you can move your body, like, you know what I mean? Is it because you're confident you can move your body, or because you can move your body you're confident? Then, like, when it comes down to sex, like, you're going to be more in tune with yourself.
Also, depending on the dance, taking control. Like, if you're leading some kind of intricate move, then it's like, okay, this person knows how to hold people, move people, all that kind of stuff.
What I was about to say is that's exactly where twerking became popular, because we were like, that girl can do that with her ass. I want her to do that with her ass on my shit. And that's why women were like, hey, certain women only twerk. Not all women are even like trying to do that shit. So, and I'm not trying to say anything about you women out there that are twerking or know how to twerk. I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm saying if a woman is good at twerking, she can do certain things to you, men. So I met a girlfriend like that once when I lived in LA. I was like, man, this is the first time I ever been to a wet t-shirt contest.
It's really breaking up.
That girl is hired. What's wrong?
No, it's just when you were talking, it was like,
maybe it's Skype.
No, maybe you were just coming, like thinking about this ex-girlfriend or something. But did you come in your pants?
I promise you, it definitely was not that. It's probably the Skype feed, and we were having issues. If I send you guys a quick link to another show, can we log out of here and then we'll log into Zoom? All right, we are back to recording. So I don't even know where I left off before we switched the feeds over. So we got a new look going on because we're on a new service. Yeah, welcome to the Global Morning Podcast. We were talking about something. I don't remember. I've had 2 glasses of wine already. I haven't been sleeping well, so I figured I need to start early instead of drinking later, so maybe I can fall asleep at a decent hour tonight. I got shit to do this weekend.
Your logic is fascinating.
I know, I'm fucking twisted, man. I've been in the house for 4 months, bro. Come on, I'm fucking dying here. So, I'm dying.
Just need some oxygen. Need some real oxygen.
God, I'm at the point of like the demons are taking over. So, rate, review, subscribe, share the fucking podcast, please. Excuse my French, and please share. I'm not doing social media. I was telling these guys this on the last podcast yesterday. I suck at it. I hate it. I'm going to have to get another intern to do social media stuff. But even if you hate the pod, I know that you guys are listening to it because I can see the numbers. Share it with 2 people. Share it with 1 person. I don't even care. If you love it or you hate it, just share it. If you go, hey, check these guys out. They fucking suck. Watch this. Or if you say, check this chick out. She says some wild shit. Or look at this guy with the high top fade, man, looking like Kid and Play. Check these guys out. That's the only way we can do it. So, because a lot of times I know, because we've been doing these shows for a long time, we used to talk about conspiracies and shit like that. YouTube has a propensity to ban your production because they don't like what you're saying. Same thing with Facebook and other platforms. So we have been undoubtedly shadow banned. So You just have to share it. It's the only way we're going to get you guys to watch the shit or get to see it is if you share it. Here's a perfect example of what shadow ban is for you people out there that don't know how this actually works on social media. So regardless of how many followers you got, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, they won't show them the stuff. It's kind of like how you got all these friends on Facebook, but you only see like 10 or 20 of them in your feed. Imagine it like this. So before we were shadow banned, it was like normality out in the world and you could walk around and do whatever you want. But once your site or your page or channel gets shadow banned, it's like fucking coronavirus. Like you can't
lockdown.
You can't do shit. They won't let you do shit. So you just have to share it. Anyway, ran over. I don't know where we left off before I came back to red wine chat. We were talking.
I think it's like when women twerk. Gets you really excited.
I don't know what I said about getting excited. I think that's where you tried to start to improv the situation.
Nah, you were like,
apparently it was happening up, and you thought I was busting a nut over the thought of some woman twerking when that is categorically impossible. And I don't know how I'm being made out to be the sexual deviant when you're the one that's living with some guy that has threesomes and has a closet full of dicks. Speak on it.
I don't even think that's being a sexual deviant, you know? If that's what you're into, fair enough. If everybody's having a good time, sweet.
That's all that
matters, he told me, huh?
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think before we started recording, I mean, I would definitely fucking object to somebody trying to waterboard me with Prosecco during the middle of sex whilst I was, like, blindfolded. I mean, I told him, I was just like, I'm not gonna have sex with him, but like, I don't know if I was really desperate. If I was
slip, the Freudian
I was thinking,
slip.
No, like somebody's describing scenarios. Sometimes you insert yourself with the scenario. I'm always the one.
Pun intended.
No pun intended. Thank you. Pause.
Basically,
what the fuck, J-Rod? Anyway.
So, but basically, if he did that shit to me. Or whatever, anyone did that shit to me, I would fucking run away from the house, and I think I would just I fucking call the police or something. And then like the water dunking one that he told me, I was just like, no way. And then he said like he put a blindfold on the girl, like she'd never been to the house. He put a blindfold on her, and then he walked her around. His house is like an attached house to the houses while she was like barefoot and while she was naked at night. And I'm just like, you know what? If I had got back, you got me back, I would have escaped. I would have hurt you, I would have escaped, and I would have called the police on you.
So you're not into sensory deprivation then?
You know what, mate? I think I could be, but like, he didn't even know that girl that well. You know what I mean? It's the first time she's been over. I'd just be like, no. That's way too vulnerable. I think that's something when you're in a relationship, you've got some trust going on there, and you're like, okay, let's try a few new things. That's the deal, I think. For me,
it's definitely a ballsy move to do if it's someone you don't know, like to just try that, like with someone you've never met, and be like, okay, so you're getting naked, and then I'm just gonna walk you on a lead outside. Hey, how do you feel about that? Well, it's happening.
Yeah. I don't think he was like that. She was asked. It's just like, during the moment.
Shit that is a bit out of the ordinary is kind of like that. It's like some women I know, they want to be mildly choked while you're having sex with them. How do you discover that in a woman? Say you don't know her personally.
Yeah.
They're a new chick. Like, you have this fantasy about being choked out and, phantom raped. I can't just...
Whoa. What's phantom rape?
Well, if you're like... They want... Some women I've heard like to have that. Just...
that's what they call it? Like, when you're getting choked out, when you're coming?
I don't know what it's called. I seriously haven't done the research, but... I'm just saying some women fantasize about, like, when they say, no, I really wanted you to just go for it type thing. And I know this is a really bad subject to just throw at this like this, but it happens. So you never know. Anyway, but I've never taken
You're treading, I was going to say, you're treading very shallow water there.
No. I'm leading into the fact that we have this woman that has been arrested in, New York about
no.
Jeffrey Epstein. Anyway, fire away. What do you got?
Well, what I was going to say, let me just try to remember my point. No. Oh, have you guys been watching Upload? That's on Amazon. It's a very cool show, actually. So the overall premise is that now you've got to pay for an afterlife. Okay, so before you die, you can be uploaded. Your consciousness can be uploaded, and there's like a hologram of you, whatever. And you have to pay for a package. So depending on how rich you are, the better the package. You can have a kind of like New Hampshire scenario, and you live in this hotel, and it's beautiful. But the people who can't afford it, you basically have 2 megabytes a month. So you can hardly do anything and all this kind of stuff.
Sounds like what we were talking about like a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about getting these implants and being able to learn a language or, do whatever. And you can only get what you can afford to get.
Yeah, pretty much. And then but there was a really interesting scene. So this woman who works as an angel, so basically she's like a customer service person for one of these afterlife packages. She's like on the dating apps and it's a little bit depressing, like still in the future, but they're still on these dating apps and can't find anyone. And but before they had sex with this guy she met, they had to look into they had to record I consent. And I was like, that's a very fucking interesting idea. And I wonder if that is going to be something that actually comes into play in the future.
Couldn't you also make someone say that?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I guess you'd have to take, who knows? There could be different parts of the test. There could be a sobriety thing. So to say, if you're sober enough to make that decision, if you're intoxicated in other ways or something. But I just thought that was a very interesting concept. And then but as you said, exactly, you could say that, but you would be able to tell because you could, to a degree, the stress in the voice, the, different factors, because it was like a video, they were both looking, they looked into it individually. So you could tell maybe it could, it could measure the cortisol or something, the stress hormone in your bloodstream or, But I just thought, I'm not saying it's foolproof, but I just thought, is that where society is heading?
I mean, I hope not. I hope
you know
not.
What? But what about, for example, if, you were into S&M, all this kind of stuff, and I think there was there something in the news recently? I don't know, I was talking about this with somebody, and it's just, if you give consent to somebody, you can beat the shit out of me, it really turns me on. And where do you draw the line? Because even if you've incurred those injuries consensually, but grievous bodily harm has been committed on you, you have incurred it. So it's just a bit where's the line?
The line, or even the line is where the law says the line is. So if I decide, and it's always based off government, that's where the line is. So whatever the government defines as something is what you need to abide by, I think, because.
But the law is not always right.
It doesn't matter. The law is what's going to be enforced. So if you like to be punched in the face, and you're and that's all we ever talk about, J-Rye. Our whole relationship, it'd be so great if while we were hanging out, you just slapped the shit out of me, punch me in the fucking nose, and then one day we're doing it, and I just knock the shit out of you, and then you go to work the next day, and then your colleagues are like, "What the fuck?" And you're like,
"I'm gonna check it out."
Right. Even if you did or didn't, whatever the case may be, maybe the neighbors saw it or whatever. I don't know. And
I've been an extra turn on, audience.
It ended up in the hands of the law. The law is going to say, I don't care if you beat the shit out of her and she liked it. It doesn't matter. And, that's where the line is, in my opinion.
There was. So I saw a new, heard a news thing earlier. There was a woman who was in a relationship with a guy, and because they had all these lewd conversations between each other on WhatsApp and stuff about what they wanted to do to each other, which sounded violent. He actually did hit her at some point, and his excuse was that it happened while we were basically in the bedroom. And I think she denies that, but because they had all these conversations, they can't prove it. So essentially, he's got if what she's saying is true, and that's what he did outside of the bedroom, their talk about what they normally do or what they would like to do means that he's got away with it because essentially that's what they've basically been saying, like, oh, this is what we do and we like it, blah blah blah, even if he did it out of context.
I think, actually, I know why I was talking about this earlier in the week. It's because I think it's something that Theresa May initiated. Now, there is no rough sex defence. And I think that passed through the House of Commons this week. So I think that's what kind of
that's good.
brought it to the forefront of my mind.
Shit out of her ass last week.
So, I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of, like, rape cases have been excused or, like, kind of, like, demoted to just, oh, no, you weren't raped. That was just a rough sex scenario. And, like, as, like, Liam, as you said, like, oh, yeah, people talking about that, like, is that implying consent? But when it actually comes down to the act, there's two different things. So, yeah, but then I think it's quite interesting because then I had this. So actually, I was having this discussion with Andrew, this guy I'm saying. We talked about that because we were talking about feeders, and I was thinking about, like, they are basically...
Talking about what? Feeders?
Feeders.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, so I'll just explain anyway, just for whatever, maybe viewers. So just somebody who, like, wants to be fed, like, they're maybe usually, like, tend to be quite obese. And then people can, like, if they're, like, let's say, organic relationship, or they pay to feed them because they get off on it. And I'm just a bit like, what if, like, obviously these people, well, some of these people are obese. They are, like, seconds away from a heart attack. What if you gave them a chocolate eclair or something? And that was it. That was their last fucking eclair. And they ended up dying as a result.
There's no negligence there. That's
No, because I think there's been consent, especially if it's a service that you're paying for. The, like, consent is implicit. But then again, but what about the whole, oh yeah, if somebody smacks the shit out of you during sex, it doesn't really matter because in the eyes of the law, it doesn't matter if you consented because it's still grievous bodily harm. So wouldn't the same apply in the... Yeah, no, but that's different. You don't necessarily have to have sex in a feeder scenario, do you? It's just feeding, and that's how you get off.
I said prostitution. It's a mutual understanding that's taking place, but it's still illegal. So it doesn't really matter if we both decided that, yeah, all right, this is a transaction that I'm wanting to engage in. I don't give a fuck. But the police don't see it that way. Same thing with drugs. If I want to smoke crack or whatever, and you want to sell me crack, of course I want to buy it. I mean, there's no problem. Where's the fucking problem, right? You got the shit, I want the shit. Here's the money. Fuck out of here. And the police don't see it that way. So I guess it just all gets down to whether if it gets reported, if it has to get reported or not.
Yeah, I think that's true. But like, now I'm just, like, thinking darker thoughts, I'm thinking about, like, euthanasia, things like that. But it's just strange, isn't it? How in some countries these things that are illegal over here are legal there. So therefore, just wondering about, the law. It's always right. Why are we
gonna be talking about people killing themselves now all of a sudden? Rapidly changing the subject.
Bring the mood up. I was just like, hey, we're very diverse, we serious stuff, funny stuff. We do it all.
Shit, I thought we was gonna be talking about, like, fucking how to make your fern grow and shit today. Anyway,
fern grow?
Yeah, I don't know, something nice and pretty, and she's talking about fucking beating the shit out of people.
What about, but you want to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell.
How is she still alive? What's going on?
Oh, see, that's just it. How long?
She won't be for long.
Will she live?
Nah, man.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't make it. Well, they say. I still think he's on Gilligan's Island somewhere watching TV.
People think they actually committed suicide. There is no way on this planet Earth he was allowed, with all the mistakes that apparently happened, was allowed to commit suicide.
Oh, no,
not a chance.
He definitely got killed if he's dead.
Oh yeah, totally.
If he's dead, it's because he got killed for sure. And they almost played their hand too early, because you can't now have the same thing happen to Ghislaine Maxwell and have it be like another accident of like, oh, we had the two officers that were looking after were on double shifts and they fell asleep again, and the camera stopped working again in a different prison again.
Why not?
Because that thing can apparently somehow happen miraculously once when it didn't, but they can use that as an excuse once. That can't happen to two people in the same case.
Seriously, Liam, get the fuck out of here. Come on. You're way too smart. You're way too smart to think that they wouldn't do that. Bruh.
They'll try it, but there is no way that should be believed.
Her dad died like that.
Oh.
He was a media mogul here in England. His body was found floating in the waters off the Canary Islands next to his yacht.
Right? But it was an insurance scam. Isn't that what he
was? He was involved in some dodgy stuff too. Sure.
Yeah. Like he stole millions from a lot of people. Yeah.
Exactly. But
and then I thought he went to go and live in Australia or something. I don't know.
No, he ended up dead. So we don't know what. My point is that if you look at who's in control of all this, or not in control, but who's at risk with regards to what she might know, those people are so powerful that, like, when you look at like the people that normally would kill somebody, like FBI or whatever, something like that, or the local cops, they're like, we're just gonna sit this one out, because the people that are at play here will knock you out and knock you off quicker than we can, and they will definitely get away with it, no matter what. That's just how I feel about it. All right, good conversation. So,
but then it's just a bit weird, because it's just like, I was just thinking, the fact like Epstein was brought to a form of justice in the first place is strange. You know what I mean? And then, so I just feel like, in a way,
it wasn't. I think that he was brought to a form of justice, which the people that he had been, whatever you want to call it, working with or working for in his exploitations, they did not expect him to ever actually be caught. And actually be found guilty. And obviously he had all these fake passports and he had basically unlimited money to disappear, which is why they were going to offer like $500 million to get him on bail, and that would have been just to escape him somewhere. He would have, if he had managed to post bail and be allowed to leave the court before his trial date, he would have just disappeared. And it would have been one of these like, is he alive? Is he dead for the rest of time?
Well,
because he would have
we never saw a body.
No, but I mean, I know it's still that case now. That is he alive? Is he dead?
You never saw Bin Laden's body either. Maybe they're chilling out on an island somewhere.
Bro, they were meeting with those fuckers right on the same damn day before they blew the fucking shit up. They blew it up. Not when the planes hit it. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, totally. I was like, what about like that building? Was it like Building 5? That wasn't even touched by a... Seven, sorry, that wasn't even touched by a plane, and that fucking exploded. And I was like, oh, interesting. It's got some documents to do with some fraudulent activities for some companies. That's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money. How convenient! How convenient! They only had a paper trail. Nothing digital. That's amazing.
That's like getting your girlfriend crazy, and then a woman being like, "Well, I'm pregnant too because I was over at their house that night." You know, I was in the next room and my eggs got fertilized. Fuck off.
It's like I laid on the bed up to the left, and I think one of those sperms just jumped in.
Wild. So let's get into love, lust, and lunacy. Take a phone call or two and see what's happening out there in the real world, and then we'll get into this Kanye West running for president thing that I just cannot wait to go in on. So hopefully the phone lines are working properly this week. So who's on the phone, and what can Jirai and us two dudes answer for you? All right.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Yes. Nice and loud.
Excellent. I have a few questions for you, for the girl hosts and the male hosts.
Wait, can you tell us who you are and a little, so we know who we're talking to?
I am Jenny's friend. I think I've seen her drunk, really drunk, blackout drunk 5 times.
Oh, wow.
I've met most of her boyfriends.
Keep this guy on.
Dimitri, I've seen you fucking drunk too, bitch. You were hugging my toilet like he was a fucking life raft in Titanic.
I've got shit to it's my friend.
You know my friend. I fucking hate you.
Jenny is one person, one female, with whom I have a truly amazing friendship. So I do believe in a friendship between a man and a woman because of Jenny. So watch out, everybody. She's great.
Oh, that's nice.
This is deep.
Yeah. Can you feel the love?
Can you feel? So, Dewey, I know, okay, you have abundant admiration for me, which is just human. That's cool. But like, yeah, Dewey, so what questions are weighing...
Jenny's got her fucking fan club calling into the show.
I'm not going to exactly invite a nemesis on. I'm like, oh, yeah, we got beef.
I need you to call in and tell everybody how fucking dope I am. Do that for me and I'll buy you lunch tomorrow.
No, he's not getting lunch.
Let's go on the date first. No, but I've got a couple of questions. Question number 1 for everybody. How soon into a relationship can you fart in the open?
Can you fart?
Yeah. This one the fuck out. I'm dropping you off.
No. I mean, to be honest, I don't think you should ever like make a big show of it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
light on fire.
Like no, definitely. Like don't stick a firework up there or anything. Don't do that. You don't need to, draw more attention to it.
Jenny,
I mean, it's just yeah.
Is it your preferred method of lighting up the candles for a romantic dinner?
Yeah, I'm just like dying out. But it's just a bit like, you know what, that shit is like never good. Like I think women farting in front of men like it shouldn't be intentional. Let's put it that way. It's not fucking cute. It's never going to be cute. And I think if somebody starts making a habit of it, you just be like, do you want me to be attracted to you? You know what I mean?
So is that something that you lay out in the beginning of the relationship, or is it something that you just don't say until something happens and you're like, well, you might want to not do that shit again?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think I told you this before. I fart during my sleep, so this is quite problematic.
No, that's not the same shit.
It's not because it's not intentional. It's not intentional, but still embarrassing because like, you do this. You wake up and then you wake up and that's next to you, and you're just like, did somebody break in? And somebody's just trying to crawl out my ass. So it's just a bit like that's it. But like, yeah, don't do that. Like if it's unintentional, it could be funny, but like never make a habit of it. Leave the room. I'd say. Or if it's in bed, like I used to have a rule with an ex-boyfriend. We'd be like, okay, like seal down the cupboards kind of thing. And I'd be like, don't move. But that was very, like that wasn't great. That was just a worst case scenario. So no, Dimitri, never. It's never good.
What's the rules at your house?
Keep that in mind.
I mean, yeah. Well, I wouldn't intentionally. I think we've all at some point have like, you've exploded into like a fit of laughter and one creeps out every now and again or something like that. Those kind of things happen, no?
Really? Like you laugh so hard you fart?
I think that's happened before. I'm sure that's happened before.
That shit's never. That's never happened.
I second that.
Third that.
Wait, second that it has, Dimitri, or second that it has not?
It has happened. Yeah, this happened.
Oh,
Also, peeing yourself whilst laughing. That happens.
No, that's a woman thing. You must be
old.
I've
done that.
How old are you, Dimitri?
I did that.
I'm over 30, but this happened to me once. I was at a comedy club on a date.
That shit must have been funny than a motherfucker.
I was going to say, yeah, that comedian must have been deep, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
but then
amazing.
What did you do?
No,
like you peed yourself?
Massively. No, a little bit.
But how do you stop it? You can't stop it.
Looking at my crotch. Yeah, you can't stop it. But if you're laughing so hard,
hopefully you weren't wearing khakis that night. So yeah, no, there's no farting. That's just what's up, man. I mean, I hear the whole it's a natural, bodily function or whatnot, but take your shit to the bathroom with that.
Yeah, just leave the room. It might look weird. It's the lesser evil. It's the lesser
but you
evil.
You can still hear it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, but also, if it's a... Go on, Vaughn. What kind of little misogynistic little comment were you going to make there, huh?
It's a misogynistic comment. I was just going to say I don't
want to hear a woman fart because she should be a flower.
I don't want to hear my woman fart. It's the same when you see like men that don't want to see their women give birth. It just distorts. Hey, therapy puppy.
Oh, exciting.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, Liam, you have a dog.
No, one just arrived. One just appeared.
Therapy puppy.
No,
Are you kidding me? I was very confused. I was thinking Vaughn was saying somebody needs a therapy puppy after they've seen their wife give birth. I wasn't sure what was going on there.
Dog is trashing Liam.
The dog is yeah. Okay.
Being attacked.
It's a very cute dog though. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, we saw what little bit we saw. He looked cute. So Demi, what's up with I was reading the brief on the call before from one of our producers over here, J Rye, and you own like websites or something weird, or wait, penis enlargement or some shit. Tell me about that.
That is cool.
Oh shit, he's gonna talk for 3 hours now.
It's all right. He's got the mic. So.
I'm not gonna talk for 3 hours. My measurements are always shorter, but yeah, I have this website. It's called penissizes.org. It's quite popular. It's one of the top for the niche, this particular one. And I am actually designing my own, penis enlargement devices, creams, and now pills as well.
Where is that? Yeah. What is that back then? Because I mean, obviously, for a long, long time, ever since like the internet has existed, there's always been emails and websites saying, hey, I got this cream and it'll make you think.
Spam.
And it's just always junk mail because none of that shit really works. So what are you doing that's different?
Well, you're absolutely correct. None of that shit used to work. Right now, there's some decent science into making certain soft tissue, engorge and making it bigger. And, there's some potential in it, but still, if there was a pill that could make your manhood like 10% larger in a couple of weeks, I think pharmaceutical companies would be all over it, and it would be, it would probably work, but they would require lots of testing as well. Still,
I know, but you said you're creating these, whatever.
You got this stuff at your website, you said, right, or no?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually advertising other people's stuff right now, but I'm designing my own, and it's got potential.
Okay, so you can't necessarily give away your trade secret.
It's got potential. You said, have you used it?
It's got potential, yeah.
So have you used it?
I've used it. Basically, I'm trying to make a device to combine several fields of technology, physics, with particular rays. I can't really diverge into it, but some of it.
Why don't you send these guys? Because you said you needed some people to try it out.
Yes, I do need volunteers. So if you want to sign
up. I don't need no devices.
Send him several.
I mean, if you're looking I can put you up on siliconetit.com. We got a website, but that's for like sex dolls and stuff. We might be able to recruit some of our people that are on our website for that. That might be interesting.
That would help.
Yeah, if you got an advertisement, I'm happy to work with you. But I definitely don't need no help in the dang-a-lang department, ladies. What's up? I'm just saying. Ain't nobody.
When the lady,
I'm 47.
When the lady protested too much.
47 years old, and not one ex-girlfriend has ever been like, "That's why your dick is small and you can't fuck." Not ever have you heard those words come out of anybody's mouth. What's up? So maybe we could get you some business, but it won't be from Jabbo. What up?
So
that's the wine coming out right there. That's
when
the wine
talk about how big that penis is, they're trying to overcompensate.
I'm not trying to overcompensate anything because I never once said. When once did I say that I had a big dick? I said I know how to dance.
I was like, "Hi, Vaughn, nice to meet you," and you were like, "I've got a huge dick," and I was like, "Are we doing a podcast?" And then you were like, "Okay, let's go down to the basement." You know, I was very.
And she was like,
"Okay, I went
show
okay.
me the way. Can I get a glass of wine?" She said, "Show me the way. Can I get a glass of wine?"
And then I got the bottle of red, sprinkled it all over the carpet.
So we go right back to the first story where you were talking about the girl being naked and blindfolded and take it out to the woods. See, women go for that shit. Sometimes you just have to feel them out and see what they're into. And if they say nothing, then you have to assume that they might at least be considering it. As soon as they say no, you got to be like, and the best advice was given by comedian Louis C.K., and I'm sure most of you know who that is.
All right, clip.
Okay. If you ever ask a woman if you can jerk off in front of her, and even if she says yes, don't do it. So, tell us more about the pill and all that other shit that you got going on, because I'm really interested in hearing about the kind of products and why people are still buying this, because we did a podcast, or I did with a different guy a couple months ago, about a millionaire, maybe billionaire, that had gone to have surgery to have his penis enlarged, and he ended up dying during
Whoa.
So do guys really want a little bit of extra meat that bad? I mean,
I think people do. I think there's so many searches online for it. I mean, there are millions every month. And I'm just tapping it a little bit out, maybe like 5%, but there's still so many people interested. And obviously, judging from the ads that you see and how much spam emails you got, obviously it is a concern for men, and maybe for women as well, but more so for men, because if you talk about estimations, men overestimate the average size of penis by about 20%. So, you know, they just want to measure.
They need to get their hands on some accurate data.
Yeah, I'll get a girl with a smaller hands.
Okay, that can get kind of creepy. So let's not talk about that.
I've got a friend who's dating a girl, and her hands are tiny. They're all over 18, obviously.
I was just going to ask. I was like, please caveat. Kind of thing. Yeah, interesting. But I gotta say, you know, I do feel sorry for guys, because it's basically like, what are you born with? And like, if you happen to get born with a small dick, that's, you know, what can you do? Kind of thing. But yeah, it's like, you know, it's kind of a lot of pressure. And like, well, what do women have? What's the equivalent? Like, what if they get really loose? You know, or something. I mean, that's not, I don't think generally women are like born like your loose vaginas. Maybe it's just like, you know, they have children and I don't know what the fuck they're putting up there. But yeah, you know what? There's a lot of pressure.
It's an unfortunate potential lottery. Like, there are winners and there are losers, and there's not much you can do about it. You gotta work with what you got.
Or learn how to
dance. And I
think learn how to dance.
Yeah, I mean, I went out with a guy and he had a very small dick, but I think he was quite unaware how small it was. And he used to come like really, really quickly as well. And he used to think he was the best. And you're just like,
wait, why did he think he was the best?
I think he just kind of like a bit of an inflated ego, and he obviously hadn't really got his hand on some good stats, you know, like other like guys like dicks. No, I never do. But I never did. But I was just like, no, it was more like he thought he was the best because he was making himself come in like 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
I mean, to be honest, I was just like, is it in yet? Oh. Wow. We're done. Cool. Okay, slight exaggeration, but like, yeah, and I kind of thought to myself, it's just a bit like, this can't be a long-term thing. I mean, there was other things that were going on as well. And like, well, actually, I thought he was 32.
Why are you stealing Dimitri's thunder and talking about your personal
sorry.
But
just a quick thing. He told me he was 32. He told me he was 32, and then I found out he was 23 instead. So anyway,
what difference does that make?
Well, because if you think you're going out with a 32-year-old, you think you're going out with a fucking 32-year-old. So when they turned around and they said they had some slight dyslexia, and they ended up being 23.
Women fucking lie about their age all the time.
I don't. I never do.
I didn't say you. I said women. I'm generalizing here.
Well,
why would you go from 23 to 32? Why would you do that?
Because he wanted
because he knew my age. He knew my age, yeah. So he knew I'd be able. So yeah, sorry, Jimmy. Talk us through your pills and your contraptions, or
a bit of science,
to what you
bit
can.
Of science. All right. Basically, most men think that penis is a muscle. It is not. It's just blood vessels, and that is the big problem because you can increase your muscle mass quite easily with exercise. You cannot do the same thing with soft tissue, and this is where the problem comes. If you consider that you need to have some kind of a mechanical or a chemical way of increasing the size without constricting the passage where the urine passes, because obviously you want to have a pee sometimes. And that's a big problem as well. This is why surgery is dangerous, and I would not recommend it, because only maybe like a third of men who go ahead with it are actually satisfied with the result. So beware. However, penis pumps, for instance, I think Medicare in the United States spends $800-something million every year on penis pumps, but that as a treatment for erectile dysfunction. And as the byproduct of this, there have been shown some small but decent, otherwise unachievable result in terms of penis enlargement. So there's some promise in that.
Wow. So that's really a glimmer of hope for you guys out there really quickly. So,
yeah.
Dimitri, we got to take a quick break because our feed's about to cut. So just hold the line and we'll let you finish up in 2 minutes. All right.
These ones or these ones?
Saw an episode of Intervention. And I know I'm fine.
Illinois, Mr. Robert Bobby McNeely. He is going to join us tonight.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Elaine Zhang, and today I am here with Eli Seal, documentary filmmaker.
I need more. Welcome to The Only Way is Linda. Today I have a really special guest here.
Time now. Hold on. I've only got a few minutes, but I'm sparing. If you can cover it in a few minutes, we can cover it.
Well, we could
Yay for president.
We could talk about whatever how deep you want to go in on it. I mean,
Yeezy for Preezy.
Kanye's running.
Actually, can I give you my view on it?
Yeah, I give you my view on it? Fire away.
Kanye does not want to be, in the same way that Donald Trump does not want to be president, even though he is. Kanye doesn't want to be president. Kanye West wants to do the fun things in the same way that Donald Trump does about being president. Kanye West wants to be like the interior designer. He wants to probably repaint the White House black or something like that, or he'll do something crazy like that. He would redesign Air Force One. He would redesign like the outfits, and he would redesign the Oval Office to make it a square, and he'd do all these things to sort of what he would try and say is, oh, get out of this, previous age that we were in, and now we're in this new age where, I'm this guy who's got all this dragon energy and all this kind of shit, he says. He doesn't want to be president. He wants to do the fun things, but if it comes around to something like a coronavirus or something important or a natural disaster, he would not have the first clue of where to start, in the same way that Donald Trump did or didn't. He would be a disaster. He would be a disaster, probably just as bad, if not worse. And that's saying something than Trump. He's a different kind of dangerous guy.
Do you think he could win, though?
No. He's too late anyway. If he'd planted the seed properly like a year ago, maybe. He's left it way too late. He can't even be on the ballot in like 10 states already because he's already missed the deadline. Like, he can't win.
Shit states. There's states that are going to vote Dem anyway, or at least swing.
Yeah, but
they're minor dates.
It's unless he's literally taking all of Trump's base, pretty much, and they wouldn't do that because all of Trump's supporters would never vote for a black man again because they still think that Obama was born in Kenya.
Yeah,
they wouldn't vote for Kanye, and he's not going to take the Democratic vote because the Dems know that Kanye was wearing a red hat, a couple of months ago in the Oval Office, talking about how he loves Trump. Why would Democrats go?
A couple years ago, but he's since rebuked that statement or that occurrence, and he's disowned Trump. And he said one of the main reasons I wore the red hat as a protest to the segregation of votes in the black community. So he felt like Trump. He liked Trump, but he said I like Trump hotels and the saxophones in the lobby. So that's why I had the hat on. But what if he's
the dumbest thing we've heard?
I know it's ridiculous, but it's Kanye, so you expect that. So okay, fine. He doesn't even make the ballot this year. He runs in 2024.
2024.
He's a fucking egomaniac, and like he's just beyond.
Well,
you know, it's just anybody in their sane mind would not vote for him.
Donald Trump was there was a window of time for someone who was completely unqualified and completely crazy to be president, and Donald Trump took it and ran with it so much that I mean, I don't know for sure, but surely the Americans wouldn't fall for it again. I would think logically, you would look at how the last 3.5 years has gone and go, fuck that. Why would we do that again? Like, if it was an experiment, it fucking failed. We won't, like, Donald Trump took the opportunity and ran with it. The opportunity's gone now. The window's gone.
Yeah.
I think they were successful with it, I think maybe. And, I mean, if you look at it from a different perspective, like a more twisted one that I'm going to bring, obviously, they put him in there so that they can get away with shit. So why wouldn't the American public continue to vote for such nonsense? We, as Americans, especially in my age demographic, I'm 47, we grew up on like reality TV and Jerry Springer, and that whole mentality is how Trump, I believe, got put into office. So
For The Apprentice, right?
A percentage of it. So that's just, I mean, that was a huge part of our culture. So you've got Hillary Clinton. I mean, we all know who Hillary Clinton is. And then you've got Trump, who has always been kind of like a, I don't want to say Richard Branson, but he's like that in America. Like, we've always known about Trump. He's always been there. He's
always been an iconic figure of sorts. Whether you like him or hate him, he's a known.
Yeah, and he's never been like a dick. Like, he was never out. You were like, oh, that guy, he's in Home Alone, or there's that guy, he's hanging out with the Clintons. You know, you knew who he was. He had these hotels, but he was never like build a wall and then, oh yeah, I'm gonna run for president. You never heard any fuck shit from him, really. So he gets into office and then he turns into this fucking monster. So we put that type of figure, that polarizing type figure, in the office. And we talked about this on yesterday's podcast. Kim Kardashian has like 200 some odd million followers. Her sisters, cumulatively, they have something like nearly a billion people follow them. Now, how many of them are all following all of them? Who knows? But regardless. And you've got Kanye, who's got similar numbers. A couple 100 million people follow him, at least on Instagram. Do you not think that amount of push could potentially put you in position when you think about Beyonce's following, or
it could swing? Don't get me wrong.
Nicki Minaj, so on. Go ahead.
His power, his name, and the family, you know, the Kardashian Wests as a collective, swings him way more influence than he should ever have. Yes, for sure. But you would still like to think that the overall general public would be like, you know, okay, yes, I liked his music, or I like his music. I like his shoes. I like that he's a bit, out there, and he thinks on a different level and eccentric and all this kind of stuff. But those are still, you should be able to compartmentalize that and say, yes, he does these things well, but you know, I would rather, you know what, just keep making the shoes and I'll just buy the shoes. I'll show my support for you that way.
Can I say, I think this would be a very good TV show. If somebody wrote about Kanye West becoming president, and then just imagine fucking Kim Kardashian as a fucking first lady. This is the most fucking ridiculous. Like, all of them chilling in the Oval Office, and they're like, Courtney, you need to fuck the ambassador of, I don't know, fucking, Colombia. You gotta do it. Courtney, I did a sex tape, and look where it's brought us. You know what I mean? It would just be hysterical. I'd love it. It would just be ridiculous.
The Kardashians don't even want to be part of the White House in the same way that the Trumps didn't, apart from one person, because as soon as he is president, there can't be any keeping up with the Kardashians. There can't be, Kanye can't be in charge of Yeezy, like selling shoes while he's supposed to be making trade deals with. He shouldn't
not?
be.
Because Trump is doing the exact same shit. Okay, so real
he
quick,
is.
I know you gotta go. I know you gotta go. So I'm sorry, but if we look at what Trump. And not even dismissing Trump really quickly, this is going to get really serious, and I hate that because I'm ruining it. The American political system is all based off corporate interest, and you know this because you're a smart guy. So you look at, how many chiefs of finance in the cabinets of George Bush, Bill Clinton, were former CEOs of major banks, right?
Goldman Sachs and so on.
Right, all that
shit. So you can rely on them.
These guys run industry. They get put into politics. The CEO of Halliburton, what happened with him? He became fucking vice president of the United States, Dick Cheney. So we know that can happen. So
this is just more in a more overt way.
The thing I think that's happened with Donald Trump is he's shown that it doesn't look good when these things are way out in the open and you're doing these things really obviously. It's the people that were smart were the guys that were able to run these corporations and yet still only be seen as a political light and keep all those shady deals they were doing under wraps, which didn't make them look as bad. Donald Trump is so brazen and out there that he's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll build a hotel in Russia right now, and I'll tell Putin to do me a favor and we'll just call it even. He'll do that out in the open.
Exactly, which is why I think people kind of voted for him rather than Hillary
Clinton. One of the reasons why people voted
somebody said something bad, I'm going to get them assassinated, or like they got into a car accident, they committed suicide. So it's better the devil you know situation.
To a degree, but we just Americans. This is what I do leave you with. Please learn your lesson. This clearly wasn't good. Like if it was an experiment or entertainment for you. Like I've had fun the last 3.5 years. I think it's been great for me to watch from a distance. But like for real, like the joke's over now. I want to be able to go to Vegas next year. If Corona's still going on in the first wave next year, you guys did. Donald screwed me even more than I could have imagined.
Wow. Get ready, guys. I think you might see something. We got a Black Lives Matter movement going on right now. We got this woman that's wanting to be first lady, that's now an attorney, and she's getting people put out of prison, and she's married to this guy that wants to be president, that has shoes on the feet of millions of teens right now, and a sister-in-law who is the youngest billionaire, and they say self-made, but I mean, you can get that Kardashian name, that's what's up. So I wouldn't put it past anybody. I wouldn't put it past the American people to say, this is the guy that we need in here, at least in 2024. He's not going to do anything this year. And who knows? Stranger shit's happening. Look who's the president right now. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for participating. And we're going to let Liam get on with his life because he's got a dog there that he needs to go take care of. And J. Rye has a volleyball game or a barbecue to get to with her little dress on. And yeah, that's what's up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys when we see you. Peace.
Peace.
Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta